Hello everyone, it's Jacob from Arturia again, good to have you back. In this video, we'll do an overview of our own and so far the only virtual recreation of the famous Grampian 636 Spring Reverb called Rev SPRING-636. Let's get into it. First, Spring Reverb wasn't really developed to serve its modern purpose. When Bell Labs made their first one, it was supposed to emulate the sound of the delayed phone calls caused by the long-distance telephone cables. Later on, one of the most impressive Spring Reverbs was released. It was called Grampian 636 and it was used in many famous studios such as Sound City in LA or Thumb Studio in New York. Pete Townsend from The Who explored Grampian's distortion utilities thanks to its crispy preamps, while King Tubby invented the legendary dub and remixing culture with the Grampian as a central piece of his studio. As with our previous effects, Rev SPRING-636 comes with a beautiful GUI UI that provides a nice studio feel thanks to its vintage look. The drop-down menu allows us to save, import or export our presets as well as resize the window of the unit. We can also search through the various presets list either by entering the browser, unfolding the presets list, or by using the left and right arrows. The power switch allows to bypass the plugin at any given time. Next to it we have two preamp inputs, mic and the aux 1 mega ohm one. These are based on the unique technology involving germanium transistors and come with their own flavor. You can easily hear the difference in their nature. The mic one provides a harsher and more raw sound, with the aux one being a bit more delicate. Decay parameter sets the length of the reverberated signal, while width knob changes the stereo image of the wet signal from mono to full stereo. Lastly, there is a blend parameter that sets the ratio between the dry and wet signals, and a small output level knob which can be linked to the input gain knob simply by activating the little switch next to it. As we always try to make our instruments and effects special, SPRING-636 comes with an Arturia advanced panel that provides a couple of handy and creative controls. Let's open it up now. It starts with the pre-delay, which sets the delay time between the dry and wet signal up to 250 milliseconds. Next to it there is a pre-filter section with 9 different modes, and the frequency and resonance knobs which allow you to shape your wet signal by cutting off the various parts of the frequency spectrum. The middle part provides 8 different spring tanks to choose from to ensure a wide variety in the character and the color of the spring. Let's stop here for a second and examine a few of those to listen how different they sound. The Gibbs Original is the tank that emulates the original size and amount of springs of the Grampian. While the Gibbs alternative is its modified version with changed size and amount of springs. In comparison to those, if we listen to the Accu Vintage one, we notice how much darker the reverberations get. It is worth knowing that all of those 3 were found on various versions of the original hardware Grampian unit. The Synthy and Space Echo ones are taken from our V Collection instruments, while Accu 4, 8 and 9 are the careful emulations of the original tanks from the famous spring tank manufacturer with respectively 4, 8 and 9 springs. And the final feature brings a post equalizer with high and low shelf cutoffs with the gain range from -24 to 24 dB. To show you how great this effect is, we have prepared a DAW session with a dub inspired track that contains a few creative uses of the SPRING-636. Let's listen to it now. This particular session contains 14 musical tracks and 3 return tracks, with 2 instances of spring, 1 echo, EQ and dynamic tube to add a bit of warmness and compression. The A and C returns containing the SPRING-636 instances are used all over the session in a way that resembles the old school dub mixing. Instead of the hand movements that would occur on the hardware mixer, there are various automation lanes drawn in a particular moments of the session, which we will discover during this video. Before this, let's do a quick A/B check and see how this song sounds with and without the return effects on. As you can hear, they give a lot of air to breathe to all the instruments. The first 2 tracks to examine are the piano and rhythmic guitar. The return used on the piano track is not static. The drone automation lane applies the amount of the SPRING-636 and the dynamic tube differently depending on the moment. Thanks to this, some notes will be accented more and others less, which translates to each chord sounding a bit different. On top of that, there is a little trick here done on the SPRING-636 on the return A. If we look closely, there is a IQ bandpass frequency automation drawn to achieve a nice sweeping effect of different frequencies of the wet signal. Thanks to this, the wet signal of the reverb will make those dry instruments sound different on every step. This is another way to make the sound move and eliminate the static aspect. Now again, let's listen to those 2 tracks in dry and wet versions. Well, as you can hear, the use of the SPRING-636 makes a big difference. Every classic dub track involves heavy manipulation of the drums, so let's check how it works in this session with the snare sound as the example. First off, let's do a A/B comparison of the dry and wet signal. To see what is happening, let's open the 636 instances. As previously with the piano and guitar, return A instance provides a long mono reverb signal with the 24 dB pre-filter bandpass and automation of the post EQ frequency bandpass setting. This allows us to get the sweeping effect on the snare drum lane. As we can hear, the pre-filter is the crucial element here. Without it being activated, we would not be able to achieve that special sweeping of the EQ. Return C instance on the other hand plays a different role. In contrast to the return A, its aim is not to provide a manipulation of the filter setting, but to give a big sounding and delayed reverberations. Let's listen again. The reverb play a different role here, therefore it requires a different set of settings. In this one we've decided to set the decay and stereo settings to the maximum to get big and wide sound. In order to enhance the wet signal, we've also wanted to set the pre-delay to the max. In this way we've accented the wet signal by separating it a bit from the dry one. A cool technique that will make your percussion sounds even bigger. Last trick is to get rid of the muddiness of the wet signal by applying the high pass filter and cutting everything below 200 Hz. We can easily hear the difference with and without the filter working. You can also notice the various return C amount automations drawn on the snare lane to provide a different sound every second step. At the end, let's listen to the snare track with and without all the effects again. As you can see, these basic dub techniques have the potential to make your tracks breathe and provide a necessary sense of depth, space, and wide range of dynamics. That's it for this video. We're pretty sure that the SPRING-636 will be a great addition to your existing setup, no matter what genre of music you produce. We hope that this tutorial will spark some ideas on how to use it creatively in your productions. Make sure to ask us anything in the comment section, and thanks for watching. See you guys soon.